It's Tuesday, April 21st. I am Pastor Jeff, and this is the Daily. Well, we are going to attempt to have a small-scale, in-person service this Sunday at church. This is going to be heavily regulated by social distancing standards. It's also going to be limited because of those social distancing standards, because of the size of our room, the size of our chairs. We are going to be able to accept this week about 80 people plus a handful of volunteers. If you would like to be a part of that in-person worship service this Sunday at 10 a.m., please sign up on our webpage using the form right below this video. If for whatever reason you're unable to be a part of that small number of people gathering on Sunday, please know that we're also going to be live streaming that worship service at 10 a.m. And even if you're not available at 10 a.m., we will be uploading that service later Sunday so you can watch it at a different time. We're trying to make all these provisions so everyone who wants to worship the Lord with us on Sunday will have that opportunity. But at the same time, I want you all to be aware that there is no pressure from anyone in leadership for you to be a part of this gathering on Sunday. These are very extraordinary times. And we know that there are people all over the board when it comes to our church family about whether they want to gather right now or they don't want to gather right now. And we want to give you the freedom to make that personal choice, at least for this time in your life. If you would like to participate this Sunday in the worship service, I've got a lot of details that you're going to need to know before ever arriving. One, we are limited to 80 people plus volunteers. So, first 80 people that sign up below on our website, in the form below, they're the ones who are going to be able to participate this Sunday. But before you sign up, you need to know that you are going to have certain restrictions placed upon you when you arrive. The first thing you need to know is that you can't have traveled out of state in the last 14 days. So you have to have been in Montana for the last 14 days at least in order to participate in this service. Obviously, these restrictions are placed upon us by the government. Also, in light of the fact that COVID is so contagious, if you've had a cough this last week or if you've had a fever this last week, you are not allowed to participate or sign up for this worship service. You also need to be willing to go through a fairly non-rigorous health checkpoint just outside the front doors of our church. What's going to happen is you'll pull into the parking lot, you'll get out of your car, and you will actually have to stand in line by yourself or with your family, if that's who you've come with, at a social distancing distance, 6 feet apart, at least 6 feet apart. And we will take each person in line up to our health point checkpoint where your temperature will be taken. You'll be given Purell to purify your hands. And you'll also be given the option, unless it's mandatory. If it's mandatory, then it won't be an option, but you'll be given an option to take a mask. We have ladies in our church right now who are sewing for us masks to keep us safe. So you'll be given the option to take a mask just to make sure that you're not exposing others to the virus. If you have it, those masks help limit the spread. Once you've been through our health check station, one of our ushers then will take you into the worship service, into the actual sanctuary, and they will place you. They'll tell you where you're gonna sit, and they'll show you to your seats. This is very important because they can count how many people are in your party and take you to a row that will best fit your needs and allow for the most people to be seated in the sanctuary. If you sign up for, sorry, my phone just messed up. But if you sign up to be a part of the worship service and you're willing to go through all of that, we're going to ask that you start lining up about 9:30 on Sunday morning. And we need you to be in line for sure by 9:45. That is to make sure that we have enough time to get you through the health check station and seated appropriately so we can begin our worship service on time. Here's another detail that I never thought I'd have to ask of you. We're going to try to limit the amount of people using the restroom. Now, of course, the restrooms will be open, but we'll be limiting the number of people in the restroom at a time to one person. So we're asking you to do whatever it takes to limit your trips to the bathroom. It would actually be best if you could avoid it altogether. Please know the rest of our building, besides the restrooms and the sanctuary, will be shut down. They will be locked up, and that is just to keep people in one particular area so that way we know where to clean when we're all done. So piggybacking off that thought, there will obviously not be any Sunday school this week. There will be no children's church this week, and there will be no nursery provided this week. But Lord willing, we'll get back to those ministries as soon as possible. You might be wondering about your growth group, and just a real quick on growth group, those growth groups will continue to meet via Zoom for the remainder of this growth group season, which is about to draw to a close. Growth groups are to be shutting down, if you will, for the summer, for summer break in the middle of May. You know, I want to also just make mention to you that the service will be shorter than normal. We will not be passing the offering plates. You can be sure to take advantage of our online giving. Dave Hilkeman is also building a box if you'd like to give via a check and just drop it off in the box if you're there on Sunday. We're also going to be foregoing the Lord's Supper this week. That's for several reasons. One of them is the obvious one, and that is just to prevent the spread of the virus. But at the same time, because we are limiting the amount of people that can attend the service, we do not want to fall under the infractions that Paul placed upon the Corinthian church and those charges that they were not giving the Lord's Supper to everyone. And we can't have a select few that we're going to offer the table to and not to everyone. So for right now, we also are going to be suffering through the foregoing of the table. We want you to know that this week is a test run. Everything we're doing is a test. We're going to be testing the online streaming service. We're going to be testing how long it takes to get everybody in the front door and seated. We're going to be testing to see how long it takes to get everybody back outside of their cars. We're going to be testing to see how long it takes us to clean the building. And why are we testing all of these things for both efficiency and time? Well, that's because we hope to add to our services in the very near future. We want to offer as many services on Sunday as it takes to make sure everyone who wants to be a part of a worship service can come and be a part of a worship service here at Cornerstone. So be looking for updates and changes in the weeks to come. Lord willing, we're going to be in a phase 3 here in Montana before too long, and we're just going to be free to do whatever we want to as a church. You can't wait for those days. Until then, we're going to do our part to help keep everyone safe and healthy and not spread the virus so much as it depends upon us. Hey, there's something I think I forgot to tell you earlier in the video, and that is lining up for the service. If I've already said this, I'm sorry. If I haven't said it, you really need to listen. We want you to arrive early this week, probably about 9:30, and start lining up outside on the sidewalk of course, using the social distancing measurement of at least 6 feet. And then we'll be taking folks up until the point of the service. But man, we really need you to be in line by at least 9:45. So 9:30, 9:45, we need you there. And please space that out. We can't have all 80 of you show up at 9:45 and expect to get everyone through the health checkpoint and into the room in time to start our service at 10 o'clock. So help us out there. If you've got any questions about the particulars or you don't know how to sign up online, give Dave Hilkeman a call or email him. It should be very easy to get a hold of him. I know some of you guys have been wondering about, what is the legitimacy? What's the biblical argument for not having church services, especially when the author of Hebrews tells us not to forsake the assembly? Are we within our biblical directives as a church for not meeting in person these last few weeks? And would we ever disobey the governor and so on and so forth? If you've got questions or concerns about that, I want to encourage you to call Ken Sandy. Ken is an attorney he practiced law, was an attorney by trade before he became the president of Peacemakers and then RW360. He literally loves talking about these things, and he'd love it if you had questions and he could help you with that. And as an elder, it is his delight to do that. Yes, so if you've got questions about that, feel free to contact Ken. He'd love to hear from you. All right, guys, that's enough for today. I will be doing the daily tomorrow as well and giving you, if you've got any questions that I need to answer that I have forgotten to mention, it's hard to remember what you've said in these videos, even when you're editing them. But anyhow, if there are pertinent things that I've forgotten, I will be sure to fill you in on the blanks, those details tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be highlighting some of these specifics again. I can't wait to see how many of you sign up. I don't know if it'll be a lot. I don't know if it'll be a little. Will we have 80 people? I don't know. Will we have 200 people? I don't know. Will we have 300 people? I don't know. Regardless, we're going to do this, and we're going to do it well as unto the Lord. It will sure be a blessing to see you and to worship the Lord with you. Again, Lord willing, this is all contingent based upon how we think things are going to go this week, but we're definitely planning to make it happen nonetheless. All right, guys, take care. Have a blessed day in Christ. We'll see you tomorrow.